Many gamers don't even look
Yes.
the influencers reviews. They look to influencers to be told how to think about the games. Fallout co-creator Tim Cain speaks on how influencers have changed opinions on games in the last decade and its potential impact on games. Now, here's the dealio. Tim Cain, interesting dude. He created the world of one of my favorite franchises of all time. Fallout is easily a definitely top 10, if not top 5 franchise in gaming of all time for me. He says some really good shit. He also says some really dumb shit. Also, while he may have created the first game, guys, he's not the fucking end-all be-all Fallout. He left Fallout 2 when it was only like partially in development. He's not been involved with Fallout since all of Fallout 1 and just a bit of Fallout 2. Like, let's be real. The dude created it, but he's got less control over that shit than Lucas has over Star Wars at this point. Can't hate on Tim Cain too much. Well, we'll see. First Fallout's the best game. Wrong. If we're done with the classic Fallout games, the second beats the first in every way, shape, and form, because the first game, I'm gonna be real, guys, while I love it because of nostalgia and whatnot, it doesn't hold up very well. It does. Every issue in terms of it being dated is fixed by the second game. You can still go back and play Fallout 2 nowadays, and it runs like a dream. Fallout 1, from just a UI standpoint, a mechanical standpoint, is incredibly dated. So let's see what he has to say. And this isn't super long. It's not about 2 minutes. Sev, if at any point you want me to pause, just let me know.
Many gamers don't even look to influencers for reviews. They look to influencers to be told how to think about the games.
Out the gate. What does he mean by this? Like, is that not what the reviewers were, if not were doing, because there was a time when game reviews were good, but have been doing for God knows how long, and that's why people don't read shit like Kotaku and whatnot anymore?
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, his entire premise based on this is that people are not really looking to game journalists anymore. They just look to YouTubers that, because according to him, and he'll get more into it in a little bit too, is so
you have seen this already.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
His assumption is this: you like a specific YouTuber, so you're just going to drink the Kool-Aid and agree with everything they say, which I disagree with wholeheartedly.
Same. I'm a big Asmongold fan. He praised Resident Evil 9. I think he's a fucking idiot for that. But
yeah.
Go on.
And but the thing too, I think that he fails to understand is we play the fucking games and then we tell people this is what we think of the game. We think this is too much. We think this is not enough. We think they could have done this differently, or this is what we hate about the gameplay, or this is what we love about the gameplay. We're not going around telling people this is what you should think. So, but he comes to this video saying like influencers are destroying the how games are being reviewed and are basically bombing the reviews because they're just going on and then telling people
they're bombing the reviews. But I will listen to what he has to say. I don't want to just take your word for it because I do like to be unbiased here. But the idea of bombing reviews is so fucking stupid to me because for two reasons. One, why was it not bombing reviews in a positive way? Love bombing reviews when critics would give games incredible, off the charts, amazing scores when they really fucking weren't. Or more than that, if something is getting review bombed, well, that's the audience speaking to what it wants. I don't care if you like. Let's say that you didn't want a Resident Evil 4 remake, like your boy here, and so you went in and you gave it a fucking 2 out of 4, 0 out of 4, whatever before it even came out. That's not actually review bombing. Isn't saying XYZ thing is bad. That's the market rejecting it, saying we didn't want this to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. I think like he's just taking this position that gamers are not giving games a chance because influencers are telling them now you have to hate this game. So because I hate
gamers aren't giving games a chance because so many games lately are dogs. Now, to be fair, I say that, but 2025 and 2026 so far have actually been really good years for games.
Yeah.
Things like Crimson Desert, Mouse PI. We're actually getting back on track.
Expedition 33. I mean, come on. Like,
but let's be real. 2018 through like 2024 was pretty fucking dog shit. That's a 6-year run of dog shit.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's see what he has to say.
So people don't form opinions from the online video. They're handed an opinion from the online channel they're watching.
Yeah, yes, they're handed an opinion. That's fine. Like the person they're watching is saying, "We are giving you our opinion, my opinion, your opinion, whoever it may be." It's just that, an opinion. How is that any different than it's not? Let's not pretend that even when game journalism was good, let's not pretend that it was unbiased. I mean, if somebody didn't like FPS games and they were forced by IGN or Kotaku or whoever to review an FPS game and they gave it a bad score, maybe the game's not actually bad. Maybe they just don't like those games. So it's going to be how many fucking journalists taught shit on Cuphead because they were bad at it, despite the fact that is an amazing game.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I think you're hitting the nail right on the head. Right. And it's just like I think like he is also misunderstanding the fact that people tend to gravitate towards people that they agree with. So it's, yeah, exactly what Jeremy said. You know, they tend to gravitate towards people that, you know, they agree with. I know, like, just generally, if I'm gonna look at a movie, you know, and I have critic lists up, I already know people that I'm gonna agree with. So if I see how they rate a specific movie, then I know, okay, I'm gonna like this or I'm not gonna like it. It's just the same thing.
Actually, it's funny you say that. So let's not even talk about like versus dislike. Earlier in the stream, when we were talking about the Resident Evil stuff, the Zach Cregger Resident Evil movie, I said I didn't like Weapons. Nor was I didn't say Weapons was bad, because I don't think Weapons is bad. Now, I actually do think there's a lot you can criticize about the ending of Weapons, but as a whole, I would never call Weapons a bad movie. It is well shot. It is well acted. It's got a good score. It's got good technical prowess in terms of like behind the camera and whatnot. There's a lot of good things about Weapons. I just don't like it. I was able to, at least in my opinion, try to be as objective as possible and give Weapons a solid 7 out of 10 while saying, I don't like this movie. I'll never watch it again. For me, on a personal level, it's probably like a 2 or a 3. But if I was to look at all the technical aspects of it, it's like a 7. And what? So just because I reviewed the movie that way, I'm giving you guys like, oh, you have to think that Weapons is a 2 or a 3. No, I talked about all the technically good stuff, even though I didn't like it on a subjective level.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly.
What this means is I've seen reviews go from this game has less combat and more puzzles and dialogues for you to interact with than this other game, to this game is stupid and slow paced and made for casuals. I think you should skip it. That's a huge difference in how game.
To be fair, both can be true. Let's run that back and I'll explain how both can be true.
In this other game, to what handed an opinion from the online channel they're watching. What this means is I've seen reviews go from this game has less combat and more puzzles and dialogues for you to interact with than this other game.
Okay, so right here, he's talking about the concept of comparing other games. Now, I'm going to keep going back to Resident Evil because it's my favorite franchise of all time, and he mentioned puzzles and gun combat, which are things that are very prevalent in Resident Evil. If I was to compare Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 on the PS1, which are basically horror puzzle games with a little bit of gunplay, and then by the time we get to the GameCube and go PS4, and go Resident Evil 4, and it becomes more or less action horror at the end of the day. Yes, I'm going to compare Resident Evil 4 and its complete change of direction to the previous games. There's going to be a lot of folk out there that liked the very slow-paced, more puzzle-oriented Resident Evil classics. Then when they get to 4, they're not going to like that. That is it's fair to compare the two. And then when he gets to talking about casuals and whatnot, you can also say in the same breath, Resident Evil 4 is catered more to casuals because more casuals would rather play the shooty game than the slow, methodical puzzle game.
I mean, and also you have to keep in mind too, like when you're describing something, you have to put it in a frame of reference. So I know, for example, when I was describing Pragmata, I was like talking about this is kind of what it feels like. This type of mechanic feels like this other type of game because, like, again, we're assuming that other folks who are gamers also played those games, and you know they can use that as a frame of reference too. So I don't think there's anything bad with comparing a new game with other games that were there in existence.
Not at all. And, I mean, as long as it's a fair comparison. Like again, you wouldn't compare something like Sonic the Hedgehog to fucking Doom Eternal. I'm sorry, but as long as it's a fair comparison, then obviously.
Exactly. To kind of like explain, this is how the mechanic looks like. This is generally what the style of the controls is, so you know what to expect going in, right? But like again, like there is such a thing as, you know, games that are easier. So I mean, I'm really, so for example, I'm really enjoying Mouse PI, but I really do think that Mouse PI was, you know, probably just a little bit too easy sometimes, right? So
it's about comparing games. If you were to compare Mouse PI to say something like Doom or whatnot, like the classic Dooms, I think that's actually a pretty fair comparison for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like, I think it's a fair comparison to say, and and you can then rate it as this game is going to be a little bit more challenging than other games too. So I think that's just part of how we draw comparisons. That it makes sense. It makes sense
Which
because some
also
games,
helps the consumer, by the way, because if the consumer's never played Mouse PI, but they've played Doom, and you're comparing it to Doom and say, here's what's similar, here's what's different, the whole line, they're going to be able to form like, okay, I get what the person's saying here. Whether they agree or disagree with it, completely irrelevant. They're going to at least be able to rationalize what you're saying because you're putting that frame of reference there for them.
And there's also some games that are better for people who have never played that style of game. So, like, for example, when I first started, before I got into playing any type of Resident Evil game, I asked Leon, what game should I play first? As an introduction to get used to the gameplay, to get used to the story, because I wouldn't know. It's not like I could be like, yep, I'm going to jump right into this one, because there is a right order to do things, to learn the story, to get a feel for the controls and figure shit out. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing to also put it in that frame of reference.
You didn't come to me because like, I trust, like, what's a better way to phrase this? You came to me about where should you start with Resident Evil because it's my favorite fucking franchise of all time. And even amongst Resident Evil fans, there's a debate there. Like, some people, I told you to start with the remake of Resident Evil 1. For some Resident Evil fans, that's a big fucking no-no. They say start with the original version of number 1. And the reason I say no is because while, yes, the remake hits different on a gameplay perspective if you played the original, my thought process was the story is what matters. Well, the story for Resident Evil 1 Remake has some alterations, some changes, and stuff that is established canon. It replaced the original from a story perspective. So that's the one you should start with because the story does matter. Like, that was my rationale. Some Resident Evil fans will diehard argue with you about that.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think there's anything wrong with having those perspectives. And I think those two perspectives are valid, and those are perspectives that gamers want, particularly if they're going to look to see if they want to pick up a game or not.
Well, let's see what else he has to say.
2, this game is stupid and slow paced and made for casuals. I think you should skip it. That's a huge difference in how games are presented, but more people are going for.
I also find it to be very disingenuous for him to say these games are stupid and for casuals and whatnot. Like, obviously, I do game reviews, right? I do game reviews on Steam. I haven't done one in a bit. I probably should. But let me pull up my Steam profile. And as somebody that does review games, talks about games all the time on my channel, let's see, profile, and then here we go, reviews. So I'm gonna share my screen. I'm just gonna read you guys just one of my reviews real quick. Can you tell me if it boils down to, this game is stupid or this is for casuals? All right, let's go reviews. Here we go. We'll do my Crystal Theater of Idols review. Crystal Theater of Idols full review. The first question Steam asks is, do you recommend this game? The answer is yes, with a slew of caveats. The game is gorgeous, fantastic visual style, wholly original looking, graphically and design-wise, a throwback to what shooters looked like in and around 2008 era of gaming. The latter can also be said for the gameplay. This has been described as similar to BioShock, and on the surface that's true, though I do think the point of those comparisons are a bit over-exaggerated. Feels fun to play, simple menu and mechanical interactions. Goes a long way in an era of mechanics and UIs that are overly stuffed, unintuitive, and often filled with visual noise. The story is basic, and that is both to its credit and its detriment. If you're looking for a quick 8-hour game with interesting enough story, throwback, but still fun-feeling mechanics, and the visual style stands out, you'll absolutely get your money's worth. However, there's a myriad of flaws here. Story simple. I complain about a character here. Minor bugs. Enemy type that there being not enough enemy type variety. Parry mechanic not being well implemented. They call it a survival horror game when that's not correct. It's really not survival horror at all, minus like a handful of jump scares. No new game plus. Like, explain to me how this is just like, oh, this is bad and for casuals. Again, this is my I believe this is my let's see, this game is intent. Flesh Made Fear review. Look how long this is. Bad Cheese review. Look how long this is. Like, and this one is a very short review. Because I dropped this game, which I rarely do. Dead Take, long review. Tormented Souls, bit of a medium-sized review. Point is, needless to say, explain to me what this whole, they just say so-and-so game is stupid. Like, even the biggest streamers out there, people like Asmongold or Penguin Z0, Charlie, I don't see them doing that shit either. So what's he
Yeah.
talking about? What reviewers do that? Because I can't think of any. Hypno writes some of the most immaculate, well thought out, well spoken reviews I've seen when it comes to video games.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, I don't have time. There's too many games. Just tell me whether I should.
Is that not true?
There are too many games. That is true. I have like I try to go through as many games as I can and then play games when I'm not streaming so I can get through the games that I can.
Yeah, like gamers are spoiled for choice right now. Because as much as we talk about how dog shit most of AAA is, which it is, there is so much good shit in the indie scene. If you know, most of my fucking reviews there, like all of my reviews there actually, were indie games. And that's because the indie scene has so much to offer. But because it has so much to offer, guys, I mean, my Steam library is chock full of games that I just haven't gotten to yet because there are so many. That doesn't mean I'm not going to, but like just off the top, I've not gotten to Dynasty Warriors 9. I've not gotten to Pragmata, even though it just came out and I want to. I've not gotten to The Thing Remastered. Now, to be fair, that's just a remaster of a game I loved on the original Xbox, so I played it before. So that one's not high on the priority list. But I've not gotten to Midnight Walk. I've not gotten to Wicked Seed. I've not gotten to Gay World, which was gifted to me. Thank you. I've not gotten to, let's say, Angel Engine. Let's see. I only started Baldur's Gate 3 finally after so long because you and I were playing it together.
Yeah.
That game's like 3 years old at this point. I only just started it. Why? Because there's too many games. Now, that doesn't mean I don't love playing them. I've been playing fucking Trading Card Game Shop Simulator recently. I know Pragmata is out. I know Mouse PI is out. But god damn it, I just want to sell some fucking knockoff Pokemon cards and Trading Card Game Simulator.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've been playing Pragmata offline, and I'm trying to get as much as I can to 100% complete it. So I'm still going at it. So, but I mean, like there is definitely a lot of games out there. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think he's just sore there's competition.
Midnight Walk is fast, only 2 hours. You can knock that out real quickly on. That is a boon for me wanting to get my reviews up. All right, let's keep going.
Buy it. Tell me if it's for me. So they find someone they just like, and then that person's opinion becomes their opinion.
See, I disagree with him.
Well, I half agree and half disagree. Why do you disagree?
Because his assumption is that viewers are sheep, and I don't agree with that. I think viewers take your opinion into account. And because they also get to see the gameplay, they see you playing the game too. And, and they see you explaining what you like and what you don't like. And they are free to disagree with what you're saying. I don't think they blindly just follow whatever it is that YouTubers say. That's why I disagree.
I sort of agree with what you're saying, but I'm going to flip it a little bit. I'm going to phrase it a little bit differently. And I see there's a couple super chats that haven't been answered. I will get to those. I just want Seven and I are going to finish this segment, then we'll address supers. It's not that they like the person, so they're going to agree with the person. It's the opposite. They found someone that, by and large, often agrees with them. Like, let's say, again, me and Asmongold, for example. I agree with a lot of what he says. I still think his Resident Evil 9 take was dog shit, but I like him. I agree with him, so I'm interested in what he has to say. So the reason people are like, oh, I hold a lot of opinions as this individual. I continued watching them because I like them. So there usually will look. Now, obviously, there's going to be a disparity. Now and again, you're going to disagree, agree. But the whole reason they're making these decisions based on what these streamers have to say is because they have found streamers that it's not that they agree with the streamers, that the streamer agrees with them. They already had, like, I already had my thoughts on immigration. I already had my thoughts on Democrats and Republicans. I already had my thoughts on the LGBTQIA plus LMNOP XYZ 123 community. And to see those sentiments echoed by a big streamer like Asmongold being like, oh, he's saying a lot of the same shit I say. That's why I keep going back and watching him. It's not because I watched him and he put those thoughts in my head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This has a positive side. It's easy to find someone who sides with your preferences and therefore is a good guide for you finding new games. And I've talked about that. That's how I look for game reviewers myself. I look at their...
Wait.
Yeah.
Then why are you talking about like it's a bad thing if you do the same thing? Is it different if it's written on a page instead of said on a stream?
Because again, his argument, even though he's flip-flopping here a little bit, his argument
a little bit. He did it's a complete 180.
Yeah, his entire argument is that gamers are not giving games a chance because they're following blindly.
Well, whether it be on paper or on a stream or in a YouTube video, whatever, isn't the job of the reviewer to help you as the potential customer make an informed decision?
Yeah.
That's, by the way, why reviews should mostly be unbiased. Obviously, you're going to want to throw your bias in there to show there's a unique experience to you when you're experiencing said product, whether it's a movie, book, video game, comic, manga, anime, whatever. Yes, you want your review to be uniquely yours, but at the end of the day, it should remain. I try to keep like a 70-30 rule. 30% subjective. Hey, this were my gripes. 70%. These are problems no matter whether you like thing or not. And that is because you want to inform the potential customer base of your experience with said product.
Yeah.
Also, Marginally Max makes a great point. We're watching game playthroughs live. That's not blindly. True, if you're watching a game playthrough and you see the game crash multiple times, or you see the parry mechanic is not working, or you see someone fall to the fucking floor, or you hear the dialogue like in Dragon Age Veilguard, it's cringy as fuck, unknown binary, that's going to inform your fucking opinion more than what the streamer says as a follow-up.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Reviews for games I already know, if they like the ones I liked and didn't like the ones I didn't like, then I will trust them going forward on reviews of games that I haven't played yet. But the negative to this is more and more people seem to be abdicating their own judgment to that of people they see online. It's like, I don't.
Now, I will actually say he kind of has a point here. If let's say that there's a game out there that let's say Resident Evil 9 for example, and it has a gajillion fucking positive reviews, or a gajillion negative reviews, depending on what side of the aisle you fall on. And you're just sitting there parroting the talking points of other YouTubers without putting your own thoughts into it or whatnot. Yeah, okay, I do find that to be a problem. Y'all have seen my 20-minute fucking Resident Evil takedown video. I've destroyed Resident Evil 9 5 ways from Sunday, and even I'm unsatisfied with that. I probably could have gone for another 20 minutes upon rewatch of that review. If people make comments on X or whatnot, literally just parroting what I say without giving any additional thought or whatnot to it, okay, yeah, that does show a sort of sheep mentality that I don't like. But by the same token, let's not pretend that's fucking new. That's always been a thing. How many people for God knows how long talked shit on XYZ movie? Let's use Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3 is, while it's the weakest of the Sam Raimi trilogy, it's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie. It's not a bad movie. But man, if you were on the internet from, let's say, 2008 to 2019, you'd have thought Spider-Man 3 by Sam Raimi was the worst fucking movie ever made, because meme culture made it the worst movie ever made. Even though anyone that's, there's been like, okay, look, there are some bad things about it. There's some annoying things. There's some downright cringy things, but it's not a bad fucking movie.
Oh, it's kind of similar to what, people were doing with Pragmata. A lot of the people there spewing nonsense and never even played the game.
You're exactly correct. They saw daddy-daughter sort of dynamic between these characters and immediately jumped to pedophilia. So, yeah, for good goddamn well they didn't play the game.
I mean, they said they didn't play the game, so.
Think about it. You tell me what I should think about it. And I see that sometimes on this channel when I...
It's not even you tell me what I should think about it. It's you tell me, should I spend $70 fucking on this? Like, let's be real.
A lot of fucking money, dude.
$70 fucking on one game that you don't know if you'll like. I think it's pretty fair to kind of outsource the thinking to someone else to know whether or not you want to spend $70 fucking.
That's a lot of fucking money.
Get multiple nearly identical comments from people, and I realize they're just quoting an online influencer. Sometimes it's a meme, but more often it's, oh, this influencer person said this thing about this, and now they're just quoting without any attribution.
All right, fair enough. And I'm sorry to keep using Resident Evil 9 as an example here, but since it's so recent, it's very recent in my memory. When that game came out, I was one of the very few dissenting voices on it. There were not many of us that were talking about what, frankly, I think dog shit. Most people would say mid at this point, but whatever that was. For the first 2 months, people were just jerking off over that game. But over the last couple months, now that it's been about 4 or 5 months of the game's release, what I've been seeing a lot of detractors, seeing a lot of people being like, yeah, I was a little too nice with Resident Evil 9. I've gone through and I played again. The story makes no sense. The gameplay is just sort of okay. Hey, why can Leon parry a missile? Like things like that.
Yeah.
It goes,
Or
oh,
a
you mean
truck.
the things that I said 4 months ago, 5 months ago when the game came out. But I was told, oh, you're just a hater. You only like the old school classic 90s fixed camera angle stuff, which isn't fucking true, by the way. I mean, I do love those, but I like more than that as well. Anyway, like, yeah, the same criticisms I had. Now that the recency biases worn off, you've got those same criticisms. If you want to parrot me on that at this point, first of all, sure, I guess that's fine. Better late than never. Also, kind of fuck you. But yeah, maybe a lot of people have come to the same conclusion because it's fucking true.
That's it.
All right. Well, apparently that is it. Yeah, I think that was an absolute dog shit take from Tim Cain. And again, I like Tim Cain for what he did for Fallout. He created one of the greatest video game universes of all time. By the same token, he only made the first game and he pieced out like less than halfway through the development of the second one. Dude is not Fallout Jesus. He's just like any other person on the internet, myself and you included. He's got some good takes. He's got some dog shit takes.
Yeah.
Elmer Revolver 2-banger. They tried bombing. Oh yeah, they did. They tried review bombing. I don't know what CD is. But yeah, Hogwarts Legacy. Huh? Oh, Crimson. Oh, did they try? Did they really try review bombing Crimson Desert?
I don't think so. I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either, but I definitely saw it with Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
Okay, I think IGN gave Crimson Desert like a 7, but nobody fucking pays attention to IGN.
No,
so yeah,
IGN doesn't count.
And then yeah, they definitely tried Hogwarts Legacy. That certainly failed. Carlos Batista for a 5-banger. X-Play gave Devil May Cry 2 a 4 out of 5. I didn't know that. Devil May Cry 2 is one of the worst sequels of all time. And I'm a huge Devil May Cry fan. Devil May Cry is another, if that one's not top 5, that is definitely a top 10 franchise for me. Because I like Fallout more than Devil May Cry. But Devil May Cry is easily a top 10 franchise. It's like 6 or 7 on the list. And I fucking hate Devil May Cry 2. I had no idea they gave it a 4 out of 5. Holy shit. Back in the day, mainstream reviewers would just dog on JRPGs because it was Japanese. People went to YouTube for a reason. You're getting your timeline a little off because the X-Play days were a bit before going to YouTube for game reviews days. But you are correct. If you go back and watch old episodes of X-Play, they were notoriously harsh on JRPGs. It's like you can watch entire like 2-3 hour compilations on YouTube of X-Play just dog walking on JRPGs, a lot of which, by the way, are considered fucking classics now. So you're absolutely correct, Carlos. Speedy Cakes for a 10-banger. Capcom needs to remake the Dino Crisis games. Full stop. No, they fucking don't. You're an idiot. I mean, I hope you stick around and keep sending super chats, and I love you. You're great. But you're an idiot. Look, if this were in the days of 2001 and 2005, when Capcom was doing things like Resident Evil 1 remake, Resident Evil 4, that era, I would completely agree with you. But do you really trust the Capcom of today? The ones that shit the bed with Resident Evil 3 and 4 remake, and it pissed the bed with Resident Evil 2 remake. I'll give them credit for not completely shitting the bed with a fucking remake of Dino Crisis. Sorry, I don't know. Sell the IP to someone who actually gives a fuck and won't ruin it with a bunch of modernity. Then maybe we can talk. That being said, Dino Crisis originals are all on Steam now. Pick those bitches up because they still hold up. And the next Resident Evil game they should do is Outbreak File 1, 2. Oh my God, you're an idiot. You keep making this worse, Speedy Cake. I want to love you. I want to love you. But you keep making things worse. What do you call an area in a cave that's deep, dark, smells of curry? A sarcasm. All right, I'll give you credit for bringing it back at the end. I talked a lot of shit on you, justifiably, but you brought it back at the end. Pitbull for a 2-banger. Games are meant to be fun. Screw physics and logic. Wrong. Some can be made for that. But games are no different than any other type of medium. Some comic books are meant to be fun, whimsical romps. The Archie comics. Some comic books are meant to be real fucked up psychological texts, like The Boys, which is also can be a fun romp if you're kind of fucked in the head. The Boys comics are good, by the way, even though the show sucks. Read the comics, they're great. And you got stuff in between, like, Spider-Man. Spider-Man can be just fun and whimsical, or it can be deeply fucking traumatizing. So I don't think games are any different. And Seb, I'd love to get your opinion on this, but at the end of the day, some games I do want physics. I do want logic. I want physics and logic actually from things like classic Resident Evil, which, yeah, you've got zombies and stuff, but we were able to suspend our disbelief because the other stuff made sense. You had these puzzles that mechanically made sense. You had these archetypes of these cops that were real archetypes, things like that. And so we're able to suspend our disbelief to believe in like bioterrorism and shit. But then you got things like Sonic, which is a fucking anthropomorphic blue hedgehog that runs at the speed of light, and bingo, bango, bongo. That's just fucking fun. So yeah, that's my thought. But feel free to give your thoughts on this one, Sev.
No, I mean, I think that games by themselves, I mean, just like anything else, it's a form of escapism. So, and that can manifest in a bunch of different ways. It doesn't necessarily need to be entertaining and fun. It can also, be a particular mood, or show a particular human condition, and sometimes those games can be really fun too. There's something fun about, being a murder hobo and, going all crazy and shit.
Maybe for you. I don't play that murder hobo game. I've got morals.
You didn't play no Russian? What?
Okay, that's different. Russians aren't people.